Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor Oleander, and I know it's been a long time, but here we are yet again. And I know right off the bat you guys are thinking, well, this isn't a train. Isn't this a train, guy? And normally you'd be right, but this is a plane. And because, you know, I have problems with words, planes and trains sound very, very similar. So, I'm trying to fly a plane and pretending that it's a train, and it's probably not going to work very well. So that tomfoolery aside, sorry for the long gap in between the videos. It's been an ordeal, and I'll explain why a little bit later. But first, you know, let's look at this plane. We're playing with Microsoft Flight Simulator X, which coincidentally was ported over to Steam by Dovetail Games, who are the people that um, were responsible for Train Simulator, uh, basically Railworks all the way up through Train Simulator 2016, which that's a whole another ball of wax. We will talk about that another day. But FSX, as this is affectionately called, is a pretty cool program. This is the PMDG 737-800, I believe. I'm using the Kalula livery for it. I love this airline. It's kind of out of place here. This is a South American, or it's not South American. This is a South African airline. No frills, kind of what Southwest Airlines is here. But I love this plane, and this is how the actual plane in real life looks. You can see it tells you everything about it. The fuel tanks. There's one back here on the bathrooms. I don't have the I forget what the camera add-on is for it that lets you move around. Let's see here. There's one that says landing gear. What does it say? It comes standard with Superfly mags. Talking about the rims. By the way, they're green rims on them. This is the plane. Yeah, the plane's registration. So it says the ZWP secret agent code, and then underneath it says plane's registration. And the tail, let's see, featuring an awesome logo. Maybe it's on the other side. Black box, which is actually orange. There's one where it shows the toilets, and it might not be on here. There it is. Lou, or Mile High Club Initiation Chamber, which the first time I read that, I laughed my ass off. But yeah, this is a really cool airline, and this is a really cool aircraft too. I almost flew the 777, but I didn't. We'll just activate the jetway there, get inside this thing, and get it started. The nice thing about the PMDGs are they are pretty close to reality. This is they went through everything, virtually every button every knob inside this aircraft is able to be moved. There are a few things. It's not very many, but you can. I can't remember if it's this one or I think it's the Airbus where you can open the windows. I could be wrong, but excuse me. But yeah, all these knobs up here on the glare shield, all these here, most of these down in here, the ones on the center console, majority of the ones on the overhead, I think all of them on the overhead work. It's a really cool aircraft, and this is, I'm nuts because I spend all this money on these things, but anyway, let's get this thing started. So the first thing we gotta do, and I have to see if I can remember how to do this, because it's been a while since I've done the 737, is we need to turn the battery on. There's the battery, here it's ticking over. We need to arm the emergency lights, so we have lights inside the cabin. And right now we're only on DC, so we can, is there not? Okay, it's got it on there. So there you see our battery voltage. One of the things that we'll need to do is turn on our nav displays, but first we're going to go ahead and start the APU. And it's right here. There we go. You see the APU indicator. This is for RPM. I think that's for RPM. Maybe that's for temperature. It says degrees Celsius, so I guess that's temperature. So we'll click on here, on, and then start. And then we'll make sure that we have the fuel pumps on. Even though it doesn't matter, and you see the low oil pressure lights come on, that means that the APU is starting. We're going to put these bleeds over onto auto. We want to leave these alone for right now. There you see the APU is starting if we go outside. You can hear it spooling up in the back. It's just a jet engine on the back end of the plane that gives us electrical power whenever we're either not hooked up to shore power or we're just starting up for the day. So there you see we've got that on. APU's come back, so we can cut the APU generators on. So that means everything's working now. The next thing that we need to go up here and do is turn on the IRSs. We turn them both to a line until on DC goes off, and then we turn them over to nav. There we go. Let's see, everything else up here is good. We can check the flight recorder. That's good. We can test these. Let's see, what else is up here? We don't have to move anything else. Let me turn that dome light off. There we go. Alright, so we can go ahead and turn these guys on. I'm probably doing a lot of this stuff out of order. That's just because I can't be bothered to read instructions. Let's see, what else have we got? We'll go ahead and turn on the yaw dampener so that way I don't forget it. We don't have a ground connection. We can go ahead and turn these guys on. We'll go ahead and set that for both, and I'm just getting stuff ready for when we get ready to start, because it's taking a little bit for the IRS to get their coordinates, so that way that they'll go into the nav displays and everything else. I can go ahead and set most of this stuff while we're here. We're going to be flying at 35,000. This is for the cabin pressure control. The landing altitude is going to be about 435, so we're going to put 400 feet. And then we go back over here to the captain's chair, and we just kind of check over everything here. We can go ahead and start setting up the FMC. The first thing I need to do is set up my fuel. For this one, we're actually going to be flying to Raleigh. We're leaving out of KATL. So we're leaving out of Atlanta and we're going to KRDU. So we want 15,000 tons worth of fuel. Or I'm sorry, kilograms worth of fuel. Which that should be... I thought I had changed this over to pounds, but apparently I didn't. So we're probably not going to have enough fuel, so I'll probably have to change that later on. Let's see, return. Payload we're not going to worry about. I'm just going to have it give me a random passenger count. There we go. And I have the ground crew. We'll go ahead and use them. We'll go ahead and do the boarding. I'm going to have to go through the doors. We'll just use Delta because they're based out of here. Now you see the handling's done by Delta, so we're going to have to close this door, and we'll have to reopen it. And this is just, a communication thing between PMDG. And then you see up in the left, so we have to open this one. We'll have to open this one, and then we'll have to open up the cargo doors. And that should get them all. Yeah. So if we... Whoops. Not a screenshot. There you go. There you see our guys down there getting ready to load everything. And you hear people loading into the cabin. That's the other thing that I love about this game is there's just so much you can do. Now there is a memory limit on this one, and I've hit it a couple times. So I think part of it's because of the graphic card I'm using. I'm using a 750 Ti, and hopefully by the end of the year I'm going to build another computer with a 980 with the capacity to go into SLI in the future. But we'll see how that goes. So go back to menu, and then we go into the FMC, and it's been a while since I've done this. So initial reference, we need to go pick one of them, copy it to our little scratch pad, enter it in here. So there we go. We've got dual FMC restored. We're going to be using ATL as a reference point. We're not going to worry about the gate. We're going to go to our route page, and we're going to put in, well, I have to put in the origin, and then we're in KRDU. There we go. Now we can go into the company route. We can look for, we need the other one. We need, I know I put it in here. Oh, there it is right there, right in front of me. KL, there we go. We want to activate that. We'll go ahead and execute it. Now we haven't put in a runway yet because I have to get clearance for that. So I have to make sure that I turn on my microphony. Contact the tower, give them the departure straight out. 27 right, which I think that's what I had programmed in. Okay. So we're going to put in 27 Romeo. That'll be that. And this is going to be flight number Kailua Airlines. And I think I'd called this one 9001, so that way it's over 9,000. If you get that joke. I don't want to scream it because my voice is kind of sore right now. That's the floodlight. It's a flood. That's the wrong one. That's the one I want right there. So yeah, you've got these panel lights that light up the backlights behind these panels. We can do this the old-fashioned way and get the what am I trying to think? The barometer reading, which is QNH 1020, which I have to put it into hectopascals. It's 1020, and then we can set it manually. I can hit B, but I just don't feel like it. 1020. Just hit B just to make sure. Just go there. Let's see, what else? So I think that's pretty much it on that end of it. I know I've got some more programming to do on the FMC. Alright, so it's going to start telling me to close doors. So we need to close the left entry and that. And I think we're still waiting for, nope, third, well, he's finishing up, so. What else we got? So 27 right. We need to finish putting the route in. So we need to go to departure and arrival. So we're going to be departing ATL on 27 right. We are using Munson 8 with a transition at IRQ. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we'll go back to our arrival departure. We're going RDU, and I believe 05 left. It was an ILS runway. There it is, 05 left. We're going to do the Malnar 1 with a transition at CAE. And there we go. So if we go through and look at the legs and then come up here and flip this over to plan, we can see the actual flight plan and step through it. So there you see we're going to come out this way. There's the transition to the Malnar 1 star, Rascal, Otis, and then there's a discos between Otis and SCU. So what we'll do is we'll just click on SCU, come back a page and click on that, and that will connect them together. And then once we step through it, this dotted line right here is the this is for the localizer, and what will happen is we'll be established on the localizer, and then we'll do a autopilot landing. And then right there is where we're going to be landing in the 740. I mean, not the 740. In the 777, it'll actually say end of descent right here. So the next one, this is for a go around. This is in case we miss it, which is very possible. It just depends on how close I get it, because the approaches that you get on American airports are kind of funky. So unless you're coming down at a good rate, sometimes I will overshoot. I think I probably get it from this one. We'll just have to see. If not, we'll make a loop and then we'll go around like you're not supposed to, but we'll do it anyway. So our flight level is going to be 35,000. And we're not going to be up there very long, I can tell you that, because it doesn't take very long to get up there. These things roll out. 737s are fast. They're not as fast as the 777s, but they're fast. And we'll turn on the flight director. You see MA, this means this is the master. There's the slave. We'll turn on the auto throttle. We'll get the LNAV and VNAV later. Let's finish up on the SMC here. So we need to put in our 0 fuel weight, and it'll just copy it in there for us. We're just going to put 5 for the reserves, the cost index of 35. The altitude is going to be 350. Transition altitude's good. Then we need to go to the N1 limits. Climb, just standard climb should be fine. We're not going to do a derated takeoff. We will do a flaps 5 takeoff, and these speeds look good. So this is V1. There's our rotate speed. Basically, once you get to V1, you're committed. Once you get to V2, it's up in the air. You can still stop, but once you get past V2, you're done. You have to take it to the air. Center of gravity, we need to fill that in. That didn't change anything. I didn't think it would. No destination path after Rascal. Why did that go away? Did it put... I think it put in... That's not right. It should be there. Hang on. Let's look and see. Rascal. It's fine. I don't know what the deal is. Sometimes it does that sometimes. It's nothing of the program. It just sometimes it'll do it. It's probably some stuff that's in there from before. So we need to trim the aircraft here. So I need to 525. And I'm doing this stuff out of sequence. I've got the FS2 crew installed. I'm just not using it. So we've got that. 35,000. As for all intents and purposes, this is set up. Everything is in that we need. I need to check the overhead. At some point during the flight we'll have to cut those off. Let's go ahead and cut on the... Well, no, let's leave them off. Go ahead and cut on the lights are on. Yada yada yada. Fliminy flam. We'll probably need... I don't think we're going to need anti-ice because it's not that cold. So, let me just make a run over here. We're going to do some stuff in route. One thing that we need to turn on is TCAS. We need to turn it to TA only, which stands for tilt above. We're going to test it. And then we come over here and you see everything coming up on here, and it'll tell me whether it passes or failed.
TCAS test. Pass.
And we passed. So now we need to do weather. So if I go over here and click this screen on the weather and click this screen on the weather, and then make sure I'm on map. I'm on plan. There we go. And then we come over and we hit the test button here on the weather display.
Go around. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead. Wind shear ahead.
And that passes. So we're good to go there. And usually what I do is the co-pilot's display I'll put on terrain. So I'll just flip that over onto terrain. I want to make sure that... trying to click on something. There we go. Right there. There we are. Turn these on to bore. Don't know what it does. Couldn't tell you. Make sure that we're on radio reference. That's good. What have we got as far as... The only alarms we got are talking about low oil pressure for the engines. Let's see, let's set the parking brake. We can test these guys. That works. Over here where I can see. Go. Yeah, oh god. This is the problem that I have with the game is okay, everything's working. That. Okay. Yeah, the camera can be a little funky depending on where your cursor is. Like if you have your cursor up here, I mean if I have my cursor like here, and then I go to one seat and then back, or like if I go to another one, well, it's not going to do it now, but it'll just take your camera and just spin it somewhere where you can't find it. One thing I need to do before I forget is turn these panels on up here. Come on, there we go. Okay, so like I said, we probably will not need anti-ice, so I'm going to leave that alone. So we can go ahead and start pushing back. Let me go out here and just check some things. We need to move the jetway. We need to go into the FMC and remove the chocks, which is going to be under FS, ground connections. There we go. Now the chocks are gone. I need to ground. We need to turn on progressive taxi, and the only reason I'm using it is so I can see where I gotta go. We need the nose left, tail right. So now we can tell FX, we can tell GSX, we're ready to push. And what did I say? Nose left, tail right, and we want to start the engines before. So then we get a little tow motor to come out for us. And then the marshaller should be out there in just a second. He'll start talking to us. There's the marshaller, strutting his stuff. Can we see him? I don't think we can see him from here. That's what I was talking about with the camera. It just kind of went crazy.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Yeah. So he's going to want the parking brakes. Oh, did I not shut the doors? That's right, I'm not using FS to crew. So I have to manually close the doors. In FS to crew, the co-pilot would close that for me. It's just one of those things. So there we go. I should have caught that. Okay, there we go.
Locking gear.
We'll set the course for the ILS intercept, and whenever we get into flight, I'm not going to worry with it right now. Like I said, we'll finish up a lot of this stuff later. Let's see, I need to turn her panel on. There we go. I think, is he waiting for me? Sometimes the calls won't go through. I think he's waiting for me to do engine start. Well, he's there in the window, so I'm guessing that's what he wants. So we'll ground number 1. We're checking for oil pressure and all here. You can see that it's starting to spin up. There's oil pressure coming up. I usually wait until at least 2. There we go. Go out here and watch it. Maybe. And I'm gonna have to turn the packs off. So every now and then I can get away with that. So we'll just turn them off. There you see it lit. My phone's going off.
Departure check completed.
Okay, there we go.
Release parking brake.
Hit the parking brake.
All engines clear. Start that wheel.
And we're still getting an error. We're still getting an alarm that's saying that the start valve's open. We're not worried about that right now because the engine hasn't stabilized. It'll have to get up to 100. We're just waiting here. One thing that I do need to do, and I can do before we get too far into this, is I need to go to initial reference, and I need my V speeds. And I need to take V2, which is 146, and we're just going to call that 160. Oops. 160, there we go. And now we can turn the VNav and LNav on, just so we'll have it. And engine number 1 has stabilized, so we can go over and start engine number 2. And there you see it's lit up, starting to come up. We watch for the oil pressure. There's oil pressure, so we can still go ahead and start it. And the big giant hair dryer is underway. There we go. The poof of smoke. We'll wait for the starting valve to close, and as soon as that closes, then we should be about to our push position. We're getting pretty close now. By the way, I'm using Active Sky Next in tandem with Rex environments. That's why the clouds look the way they do. That's why the sky looks the way it does. They're top-notch programs. Like I said, they're top-notch programs. Active Skynet you can get through, or Next you can get through Steam, through DLC for FSX. Rex you have to get through a third party, and usually when I used Rex, I only used the textures, like some of the runway textures, the lights on the runways and everything, the sky color, the cloud shapes, stuff like that. All of that is through Rex. I'm not using the weather engine because FSX has, or ASN has, the better weather engine. Alright, that's done. They're getting out of the way. I can go ahead and check flight controls.
Right, it's clear.
Let's see. I'm going to bring that up there so that way I can keep an eye on it. So we'll do this out here. So left, right, neutral, up, down, neutral, rudder, right, neutral. So that's good. By the way, you can do the checklist on here. So we're cabin should be secured. We need to set them. We're to this point. Okay. So as soon as he gets out of the way, we can cut the lights on. And they're clear, so we can turn on the taxi lights. We can turn on the logo light because it is dark. We're going to turn the strobe on to steady. We're going to need the wing, anti-collision, and the wheel wells. And you're not going to be able to see it. That's one thing, the lights on these, they're not as bright as some of the other aircraft, some of the ones like the QW757. And the reason for that is I think they're trying to save on memory, because the 777 eats up a lot of memory, so we can start rolling. I gotta get my joystick over here where I can maneuver. There we go. Once we get rolling, I usually go back to idle. Doesn't take much to get this thing moving. So I'm gonna go ahead and start as soon as I can get over here on the straight. I think the next one I'm going to do is going to be the B-17, just because I need to practice with it. Once I get on this little straightaway here, and we've got a plane coming in, so we might have to wait anyway. But so yeah, as far as where I've been, we got pretty well slammed at Christmas time. Just a little bit before, we had a guy retire. Go ahead and move these while I'm thinking about it. I think that's 2. Gotta go one more. And you'll see that the flaps are in transit. We're going to flap 5. So yeah, we had a guy retire, and we were down 2 guys already. We were down 1 guy already, and then we had another one retire, and that just kind of put us in a hurry. So the last couple of weeks of December, I was working. Let's see, the second to last week, I think I worked about 55 or so. The next week I worked over 70. The next week after that I worked 80. And I mean, it was just back to back, and I was working almost 7 days a week before that, so I was just didn't have any time. In August, in September, I got another vehicle, and then about a week or so ago, I actually got a new place, which you might notice I'm talking a little bit louder, and it's because the sound quality where I'm at now is a lot better than the one I was in before. So that was part of the reason why I wasn't doing videos, was because I couldn't. The sound quality wasn't that great. So now it's better, and I can do more of them. There's some games that I've got that I've been wanting to play. Probably play some Fallout. What else have I got? There's another game called American Truck Simulator that's coming out about a week and a half from now, that I've been looking forward to for well over a year. And I'm working out some bugs with Silent Hunter 5. I was going to do a series on that, and I just haven't had a chance. I also got Farming Simulator. I'm probably not going to make any videos on that because it bores me. But I've got several games. I wish I had a way to capture Wii U gameplay, because I've got a Wii U and I've been wanting to just toy around with it. But the whole reason I'm doing FSX is because I figured I was having trouble with Run 8, and I figured it'd be something different other than trains. Because I do play other games, I just don't record them, because it's kind of hard to sit here and talk about it. But yeah, a lot of stuff's been going on. It's not just been work. I mean, that's had me pretty well tied up. But outside of that, you know, just other stuff that's been going on. I've been back and forth. I just got back from North Carolina a week ago. I was up there for a few days, and you know, I went and watched Star Wars. We might talk about that in another video, but it's just there's just been so much stuff going on. Trump's running for president, and you know, everything. But you know, I'm just rambling on. I mean, it's just been crazy. I've been wanting to make videos and just haven't had the time. And you know, I'm just making them to make them. I'm trying to make them worth people's time to watch them. But you know, I've said it in another video that I'm a big fan of games that allow people to mod them. This is one of them. This game has got a very, very healthy modding community, and you know, I just try and do my part to help the modders, because the modders make games better. You know, there were certain games. Now, Fallout 4 was kind of a special case, and people have given it flack because, you know, the modding community has basically had to go in and put in some features that it should have had from day one, and I will give them credit for that. But all I can say in response to it is, it's Bethesda. What do you expect? You know, as I've told people in the past, a Bethesda game without bugs is not a Bethesda game. I've got some mods for it. I'm working on some stuff. I had a video that I was going to make in it on how to animate light boxes, and I actually had it done, and it was going through simple animations, because people were saying, you know, you got to have separate power supplies for you know, every frame that you want to animate, and I was like, that's not right. I had done it several times without having to do it, but I may go back and do that one again. But the problem was, I had recorded it and went to go and do the master for it, you know, put everything together, and something corrupted with the video. I don't know how it happened, because I had recorded something else with it beforehand, and somehow or another it got corrupted, and you know, it the first 5 or 6 seconds of it you could see, and then the whole screen turned green, and it was just glitchy, and the audio was coming through fine. So I don't know what happened. I do use beta drivers with GeForce, and I'm kind of wondering if that's what happened. There's a plane going off. You know, I don't know. But yeah, you know, it's all good. Hopefully I'm going to be able to do more with it in the future. That's the plan anyway. I was just turning on RTO there for rejected takeoff. Everything should be set up to, everything should be good to go. This is about an hour flight. I'm probably not going to do all of it. I'm just making a video for you guys just to let you know that I'm alive. and there are going to be videos coming in the future. I'm going to try and do some on the other channel. I just haven't messed with Source Filmmaker because I haven't had time. I have an idea for one. I've been debating on how I want to do it. I'm thinking about making a very small comic series. I'd been wanting to do it for a while and just have not had time. And then I'm also going to do another little short series for it. Some videos that I've been thinking about making for a while. So stay tuned for that. So here we are at the entrance to runway 27, right? It says so right there. I would not lie to you. Actually, I would lie to you, but that's neither here nor there. So one thing we need to do, as soon as he gets done talking, actually I need to tune the tower. We need to request takeoff clearance, otherwise he'll be squawking at me. Alright, we acknowledge that, and then we turn off the taxi lights. We turn on the runway lights. We set these to continuous. That's on. We turn that to strobe and steady. We don't need the wheel well lights. The anti-collisions comes on, so we just go out here and make sure everything's working. Okay. So we knock off our parking brake. Why have I got a master caution? No FMC messages. That's interesting. Oh well. We'll find out. Alright, so here we go. Get out here onto the runway. Are the landing lights on? It's awful dark. But yeah, I thought it'd be different. I thought it'd be cool to make another video, but I'm gonna do some more. I want to do another one I want to do a video on the B-17, and actually that might be the one that I get ready to do next. That's it. Well, you can see me fail. That is, I have forgotten what that is called. It's RAS or something like that. Runway Awareness Safety System. That comes with FS2 Crew if you purchase it. Alright, so we can get this thing rolling. There we go, 50%. We take it up to climb thrust, which is right there. And we're looking at our speed readout. V1. Rotate.
V2.
So now we can turn on the autopilot as soon as it comes on. Keep it about 15. There we go. There's the flight director. Now we can turn that on. Well, turn it. Come back. There we go. So now the autopilot's got it, and we just follow the prompts. We can raise the gear. It's hard to do this whenever you're flying by yourself. All right, all the lights are out. We can start bringing the flaps down. So we can go to flaps 2. Go ahead to flaps 1. And flaps up. And look at that sunset. So there's a good picture for you. This is why I love this program, because there's, like I said, the mods that you can get for it are just so great. And I chose this particular color because this is closer to what you'd see during the winter, which is what time of year it is right now, as the sun is lower in the sky. But yeah, very, very nice. You can see a little lens flare right there. J.J. Abrams would be happy. So yeah, that's all there is to it. One thing that I will go ahead and do right now, get this out of the way. You can see there's our ILS. I'll just, while I'm doing this, even though it's not a tutorial, we can cut this back to off. Did I shut down the APU? I did not shut down the APU yet. Which, as I recall, you're not supposed to shut this off until you're in air anyway, so we can shut off the APU. Everything else is fine up here. We can go ahead and check the generator output. 400, so these are good. You should start seeing this very slowly come down. But for the ILS, let me bring this up here so I can input it. So for the ILS, these are our nav computers. So we're going to put in 109.10. So 10, and then on the lower one here, we want 109. We'll put that in, and then we'll do the same thing over here. We just passed 10,000, so that means I can cut off the lights. I'll get it in just a second. We need to turn TCAS to tilt above radar. And, yeah, let's see. That's right. We'll set the course in just a second. While we're down here, does this one not have it? This one doesn't have it. I'll be damned. There's usually a, I don't think this plane has it. It does not. And what it is on the older style, right here was a heads-up display that would come down, and you would put in the runway length and elevation into a little computer that was right there. So when you brought that down, it would help you line up. But because everybody uses autopilot for the most part, cut that off too. You know, it's not needed anymore. So the course. Course is 52 degrees. So we set 52, 52 degrees, and same thing over on the co-pilot side. Oops, 52 degrees, and that's the approach for RDU. And as you can see, the plane is flying itself, and as I said, we are flying over 10,000 feet, so we can cut all these bad boys off. We don't need these at all. I usually cut off the logo once we get above that. Everything else can stay on. And then once we get to 18,000, then we have to change our transition over to standard, or altimeter over to standard, and then we're good to go until we get ready to land. So let's see. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and the next video that you'll see, it'll be on the B-17 in this one, just because I think it's a cool plane. I might fly around with it, show you some things, and I don't know if I'm going to do Run 8 anytime soon. Run 8's having some drama, and it's mainly in the multiplayer community. I mean, I think I'd said it in one of the videos about, you know, there is a multiplayer community, but I just don't have time for it. I don't have time for drama. You know, I just want to get in the train, run it, and then go home. which is kind of like my work day. So yeah. But yeah, this is the PMDG. There we go, 18,000. So we can flip over to standard. But yeah, this is PMDG 737, and I'll probably fly the 747. But I mean, just look at how beautiful this thing looks. And if you're gonna spend the money and get one of these things, I can't remember how much this one is. I think it's $40. If you're gonna spend the money to get one, you know, go ahead and save up. Get Rex, get Active Sky Next. I think Active Sky Next is $15 or something like that. I could be wrong, but you know, spend the money. Get you some good add-ons, especially if you're a flight enthusiast. It's worth every penny of it. I mean, look at the clouds over there. And there's actually Rex has a thing for lightning storms as well. If you can swing it, get the terrain ones, get the terrain improvements. I don't have it because every time I've tried to use terrain improvements, I get memory limits, and it's on FX's end, because this is still a X32 program. It's not a 64. I'm sorry, it's a 32-bit program, not a 64. So it still has memory issues. It kind of reminds me of Kerbal Space Program, which I'd love to make a series on, but the problem is I have so much trouble with it. Just random crashes. And it's because I can't run mods, because it runs into memory overflow. But so yeah, we're flying away from Atlanta. That is Atlanta right there. The big city of Atlanta. Somewhere. What way am I facing? We're facing east. So somewhere over this way is Stone Mountain. I think I see it right over in there. Or that might just be clouds. But yeah, somewhere around in here is Stone Mountain. It might be over there. Because we're running east right now, so. But anyway. So yeah, I'm going to cut this video here. And like I said, the next video that you see will be me playing around in the B-17. So take care, everybody. I will see you around in the next video. Bye-bye.